Isang malugod na pagbati sa lahat. Good day, good morning. By the way, I am Erwin Itzinubio from Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in Human Resource Management Department. And I believe in saying of Dr. Rizal na ang kabataan ang siyang pag-asa ng bayan. And I take this opportunity to discuss about the life and works of Jose Rizal and to learn also about his knowledge, his novels, and his writings mostly about El Filibusterismo. And our topic, which is the El Filibusterismo, is divided with different topics for our groups. And its objectives is to recall experiences Rizal had when writing El Filibusterismo, familiarize the characters, settings, and plot of El Filibusterismo, then describe the context in which Rizal wrote El Filibusterismo, appraise how El Filibusterismo contributed to national consciousness and the revolution, and last, compare and contrast El Filibusterismo and Noli Me Tangere. We know that Dr. Jose Rizal is very popular to us with his novels, his writings, and etc. One of his popular novels entitled El Filibusterismo. So, El Filibusterismo is the second novel written by Philippine national hero Jose Rizal. It's also served as a sequel to his Noli Me Tangere. So, Noli Me Tangere is one also of the popular novels of Dr. Jose Rizal. El Fele, as it is popularly called. El Fele is a political novel full of bitterness, sorrow, pain, violence, and vengeance to awaken the Filipino people against the Filipinos, to go against the government and the practices of the church which appeared realistic. So the story is still tribute to our country. It is clearly depicts the oppression that we suffer. For all intents and purposes, this is still one of the greatest works of literature that ever came out of our country. So, as I understand it, Rizal knowledge that he thinks that fighting for freedom during his time is not for the greater good but for personal gain.
Juan Crisostomo ba? Sino siya?
Sabihin natin isa lang siyang alaman kung matagal nang naibaon 13 taong na nakaraan.
Nais mo bang palayain si Basilio?
Opo, sana.
Si Basilio, hindi ko maunawaan ang sinasabi niya. Parang mga Indio.
Pinahinala ang mungkahi ng paaralan. Magsisimulan lamang ito ng himag.
My groupmates will discuss the continuation of this topic about El Filibusterismo.
El Filibusterismo, also known by its alternative English title, The Reign of Greed. It is the second novel of Jose Rizal. The story started with a Tagalog name Steamship Taboo, which is struggling to navigate upstream along wending the Pasig River going to Laguna. Some of the characters of the novel were introduced and discussed on any subject came to mind. The social stratification of the Philippines was depicted in the passenger arrangement, which was divided into two, the upper deck and the lower deck. On September 18, 1891, El Filibusterismo, written in Spanish and a sequel to Noli Me Tangere, was published in Ghent, Belgium. Rizal, who began writing El Fili in October 1887 in Calamba, Laguna, he revised some chapters while he was in London and completed the book on March 29, 1891. It was his dedication to the three martyred priests executed on the 28th of February 1872. The said priests are Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, expressing conviction that then treatment and deaths at the hands of the Spanish authorities was unjust. The main focus of El Fili is to defend Filipino people from foreign accusations of foolishness and lack of knowledge. Then, to show how the Filipino people lived during Spanish colonial period and the cries and woes of his countrymen against abusive officials. The team expressed Philippine nationalism in most profound and dramatic manner to arouse the spirits of frustrated people. The novel presented an anti-clerical and outspoken fiction over the anarchy and greed in the Philippines. So, in overall, it focuses on the inevitable revolution and whether or not the Philippines should rebel peacefully and diplomatically or violently.
Belgium is a country of northwestern Europe. It is one of the smallest and most densely populated European countries. It was in January 28, 1890, when Rizal arrived in Brussels. Rizal left Paris due to the high cost of living and because of too many invitations to social gatherings that hampered his literary work, particularly his second novel, El Filibusterismo. While in Brussels, letters from home made him worried. Among these were filing a suit in court against his father as it failed to pay high rentals imposed by the Dominicans of Friar Land, worsening of Calamba agrarian problem, deportation of Pasiano and brothers-in-law Antonio Lopez and Silvestre Ubaldo to Mindoro, and Manuel T. Hidalgo's banishment to Bohol. On hearing the appalling situation of his family, it made Rizal wanted to go back to the Philippines and ignore the warnings of diplomatic Jose Maria Basa, Mariano Ponce, and all of his friends for a possible danger awaited back home. But something happened that made Rizal change his plan to returning to the Philippines when he received a letter from Pasiano which related that they lost the case against the Dominicans in Manila, but they appealed it to the Supreme Court in Spain.
In spite of protest from his family and friends, Jose Rizal decided to return home. On June 26, 1892, he arrived in Manila accompanied by his sister Lucia. He returned home for the following reasons. First, he wanted to discuss with Governor General Eugenio Despojol about his Borneo project. Second, he wants to establish the La Liga Filipina in the Philippines. La Liga Filipina, which is the Philippine League in English, is a secret organization that was founded by Jose Rizal in the house of Doroteo Onconco at Ilaya Street, Tondo, Maynila on July 3, 1892. On July 3, 1892, Rizal attended a meeting with several Filipinos at the home of Doroteo Onconco. Among those present were Apolinario Mabini, Andres Bonifacio, Pedro Serrano, Jose A. Ramos, Diodato Arellano, Agustin de la Rosa, Ambrosio Salvador, and other patriots. Jose Rizal explained the La Liga Filipina as a civic league of the Filipinos whose desire was to establish a role in the socio-economic life of the people. It aims unification of the archipelago into a compact and homogeneous body, mutual protection in every want and necessity, defense against all violence and injustice, encouragement of instruction, agriculture, and commerce, study and application reforms. On the meeting, new officers of the League were elected Ambrosio Salvador as President, Austin de la Rosa as Fiscal, Bonifacio Arevalo as Treasurer, Judato Arellano as Secretary. All Filipinos who were willing to join were qualified for membership. Aside from paying entrance fee of 2 pesos, every member had to observe the following: obey the orders of the Supreme Council, help in recruiting new members, keep strictest secrecy the decisions of the Liga authorities, have a simple name which can be changed if he becomes a president of his council, report anything that will affect the Liga, behave well, and help fellow members. When Jose Rizal was arrested and deported to Dapitan, the Liga became inactive. But through the dedications of Domingo Franco, Apolinario Mabini, and Andres Bonifacio, they reorganized the society. At first, the Liga pledged support for La Solidaridad and the reforms it advocated, but as the group led by the radical ranks. Some of its members opted not to be active because they are afraid that they would be arrested and deported. Because of the division, the La Liga members split into 2 groups: Cuervo de Compromisarios, which is Body of Compromises in English, and Katipunan, which under by the leadership of Andres Bonifacio. With the shift, it also changed its ideas from peaceful means to armed revolution. Bonifacio's idea of separation from Spain had been conceived by the masses as the only solution.
Hong Kong residency. Soon after the publication of El Filibusterismo, Rizal left again for Paris to bid farewell to his friends. After a while, he boarded a train to Marseilles and boarded the steamer Melbourne bound for Hong Kong. He lived there from November 20, 1891 to June 21, 1892. He left Europe after of his political differences with Miguel H. del Pilar and other Filipinos in Spain. Rizal established his residence and where he also opened his medical clinic to earn a living for himself and for his family. Rizal practiced medicine. In his practice in medicine, he became acquainted with Dr. Lorenzo P. Marquez, a Portuguese physician, who became friends Rizal and admirer. Doctor helped him to build up a wide clientele. In recognition of Rizal's skills as an ophthalmic surgeon, he turned over to him many of his eyes cases. And Rizal was also successful in operating of his mother's left eye to read and write again. Anxious to get home again, Rizal wrote his parents asking their permission to return home on December 1, 1891. On the same date, his brother-in-law, Manuel T. Hidalgo, gave Rizal the news of the families and other Calamba folks' deportation. Faced with the problem of the deportation, Rizal tried to devise a solution, one which was the Borneo colonization project, which proposed that the Calambans establish a colony on Borneo to be called New Calamba. This gained the support of the British authorities. Rizal penned 3 letters to Governor General Eulogio Dispojol, with which the officer never had courtesy to reply. On the letter dated June 21, 1892, Rizal expressed his coming to Manila to discuss the project. Rizal unknowingly walks into a trap when on that same day a secret case was filed for anti-religious and anti-patriotic actions.
Rizal and Katipunan. On June 21, 1896, Dr. Pedro Valenzuela, Bonifacius' emissary, visited Rizal in Dapitan and informed him of the plan of the Katipunan to launch a revolution. Rizal objected to Bonifacius' crude project, stating that such would be a veritable suicide. Rizal stressed that the Katipunan leaders should do everything possible to prevent premature flows of the native blood. Valenzuela, however, warned Rizal that the revolution will be inevitably break out of the Katipunan would be discovered. Sensing that the revolutionary leaders were dead set on launching their audacious project, Rizal instructed Valenzuela that would be to the best interest of the Katipunan to get the support of the rich and influential people of the Manila to strengthen their cause. He further suggested that Antonio Luna, with his knowledge of military science and tactics, be made the direct and military operation of the revolution. End of Excel. In spite of the liberties given to Rizal within the confines of the Dapitan, he was not still satisfied. Dr. Blumentritt suggested Rizal to volunteer his services to the Spanish government by joining the Cuban was a doctor, so that his exile could be intended. Rizal wrote a letter to the Governor-General over the intention, and on July 31, 1896, he received a reply from the General that his request has been granted and he had to leave Dapitan. At the port of Dapitan, students, captain, and some locals bid their farewell Rizal.
Good day everyone, my name is Christian De Moreno from BSHM. I will be discussing about Rizal life in Dapitan City. There are a lot of establishments that Rizal had built. Those are the Catholic Mission, Jesuits, mission houses, and churches. Dapitan in the northern Zamboanga became the headquarters of this mission. On July 17, 1892, Rizal and the letter from Father Pablo Pastel has arrived, in which he is also a superior of the Jesuit Society. But in order Rizal lived in, but suddenly apart from the letters had conditions, Rizal did not agree until he decided to come with Ricardo Conibiro for a while for him to live temporarily. On September 2, 1892, Rizal talked about his life in Dapitan, where he said, "I shall tell you how me live here. I have three houses, one square, another hexagonal, and a third on octagon, all of bamboo and nipa, wherein he but a houses, school, and a clinic." Rizal transformed Dapitan not only aesthetically but also in terms of sanitation. Aside from providing a lighting system, he drained the marshes to lessen the incidence of malaria that infested that place, and also constructed a water system. In order to provide clean water for the people of Dapitan, this water system would later earn prize from a American engineer, Mr. H.F. Cameron, who noted ingenuity despite lack of resources.